Everybody doing of the Underground Railroad television show. We come on in the United States in Chicago. Okay. On Saturday nights at 10:30. Okay. And say hi to the people in the United States, Asia, Africa, the UK, and Europe. And nobody wants to say hi to Alaska, South Pole, North Pole. I don't know which one it is. And today I'm pleasure to have a guest come on. I'm waiting on him to come in, and his name is Dr. Lee Warren, and he has a show called Plum, Power Laden Man. And he comes on Thursday. What he's going to do is he's going to tell what time and what we're going to be talking about, because I learned from Dead IQ, okay? And please, you know what? If you want over 1,000 subscribers, nobody can guarantee it, but Dead IQ can help you. And the link is in the description. So I'm waiting on Dr. Lee Warren to come in. And let me set this on up. And what we're doing is we will be talking about current issues that are going on. And you know what? It is very, very, very important that we keep up with the news. I was with somebody recently, and they said they do not keep up with the news. I said, what is wrong with you? I didn't get it because you know what? I am a news addict, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Dr. Lee Warren the link again. I sent him the link again. And what happened is they had no idea. You know what? And then I said, who was the last president? They didn't even know who the last president is. But I want to say, you know what, like what's going on in Florida? What's going on in Florida? Florida right now, you know what, put your prayers out there if you believe in prayers for people in Florida, because you know what, there's hurricanes and all type of turbulence that is going on in Florida right now. And there are people that are flooded out. And my cousin happens to live in Florida. That's something. And Brother Mark, I hope that he's safe. And my cousin David. I don't get the opportunity to see, but put prayers out for the people in Florida that are going through these things. But you know what? Some people are asking, what is it, Cliff? What is it? Is it global warming? Okay. And I have my guests coming on, and they have a fantastic show. Okay. So I have Dr. Warren. Thank you, Dr. Warren. And this one, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And I can only see half. I can't see both of you. And you know what? These individuals, they're powerful, they're smart, they're intelligent. They have a great show called The Plum Power Laden Man that comes on Thursday. But they have a YouTube page. You can go to their YouTube page and you can see their show 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So please introduce yourselves to the audience, please.
Well, I'm Dr. Lee Warren, founder of Plum, and my wife is,
Penny Warren, co-founder.
Mm-hmm. Tell us when your fabulous show comes on and where your YouTube page is and how they get in contact with you. And tell us about your show.
Well,
our show. Okay.
Our website is Plum, PLIM,
.org.
That's the number 2, PLIM, the number 2.org. You can contact us. We have a blog there with all type of information concerning both political, economically, spiritually, health-wise. All that information there at the site. And we have a cable. Those of you who are in Chicago, we have cable. We come on every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36, and reshown Thursday morning from 10:30 to 11:30 on Channel 36.
Okay. And for people out there listening, you know what I'm going to put? I'm going to put that in the description. And you have a non-for-profit organization. Do you mind telling us what is that all about?
Well, Plume is what it is an organization that is destined to reveal you to first of all, the things that are currently taking place, how to be in touch with your Heavenly Father, and the things that are currently taking place that you don't hear in the news, that are in Revelations, that are telling us of the prophecies that are being fulfilled here in our current time.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are totally unaware. The churches don't make people aware. The government doesn't make well. Matter of fact, they're one of the culprits in this whole situation. In that, so we are trying to inform through the preaching of the truth, the gospel of Yahshua Messiah, of what is laid down in the scriptures, especially Revelation, that are currently taking place. You have a situation that we're currently financially we're broke. There's a worldwide depression that's unfolding. Two, we also have a nuclear war, Third World War, unfolding.
Okay.
And no one is telling us where or what this Ukraine war will turn out or what the implications are. What you should be doing financially now. Things are not going to get any better. They continually get worse. Yeah. And you would see from the inflation that's taking place in this country, matter of fact, throughout the world. See, you can see that as far as your food prices, your energy prices, and your rent or mortgage, everything is constantly going up. Mm-hmm. They have a crime that it cannot, a crime here in Chicago that they cannot control. You can't blame most people because most people, like for instance, there's a mass shoplifting throughout the country because people can't afford food. If you can't afford food, what you can't do, you steal it. I'm not trying to blame nobody for it, but primarily as a result of mismanagement of the government in providing for the citizens of the United States instead of sending billions of dollars over to Ukraine to fight Russia. That's a family affair over there.
Yes.
That's involved in a mess that I think has severe implications for it. So that's the purpose of the organization.
Okay. You know, I'm going to get to that, but I would like to ask both of you a question. Okay. There are catastrophic tornadoes and hurricanes that are occurring in Florida. There are people that have been flooded out. Would you say that it is natural? If it is it Mother Nature, or is it global warming, or is it a possibility? There's a program called HARP where they can manipulate the weather patterns. What would you? Both of you are experts. What would you? Both of y'all say about that?
Well, that's a classical book. You can Google it. Angels don't play with harp, something like that. But they have put this way, the government has control over weather to a certain extent for over 35 or 40 years. You can go back to the 60s when President Johnson came in, that they had developed it. So it's very sophisticated, and they can control the weather to a certain extent. I didn't say totally, but they can cause the tornadoes to go, or they can direct tornadoes. They increase intensity of tornadoes. All this is sophisticated physics that the American people are totally unaware of what our government has as far as science and what they can do and how they have manipulated these situations for their world control. In other words, the United States has hegemony. By that, we're the only country in the world, Russia, China, EU, India, we have 700 bases. Do you hear what I said? 700 bases throughout the world. Why do we need 700 bases?
Yeah.
What is the agenda for 700? Them bases got to be supplied with all type of equipment It had to be paid. They're very expensive. But yet we have 700 bases, and we say Russia's doing this and Russia. Well, they don't have 700 bases. China doesn't have 700 bases. Well, why do we need 700 bases throughout the world to perpetuate our agenda? Americans are totally unaware of the vast defense budget that we have. And President Eisenhower, that was the 30, right after World War II, the president.
World War II, okay.
He stated, beware of the military-industrial what?
Complex.
He knew that they had great power and they would continue to foment all types of revolutions and a crisis in the world to continue to finance their military budget. You know, the military budget is almost $1 trillion. I didn't say $1 billion, I said 100, I said $1 trillion. See, that's more than Social Security and Medicare put together. That is, and we see what it's leading to.
Yeah, I would like to ask Dr. Penny Warren the same thing. What is going on in Florida? Do you think that it is man-made or Mother Nature, or it's just global warming? Too much toxins going in the atmosphere.
I mean, as my husband said, the government knows how to play with the weather, so we can't exactly say what it is because we don't have that information. But the evidence of, you remember Florida was like the prime place people wanted to be in because of the governor there was shipping the illegal aliens, the migrants to Washington and New York and Chicago. And a lot of people, are snow bunnies. They, spend their winters in Florida. So Florida is like an ideal place for people to wither out the winters, and it's just a beautiful location, sunshine most of the time. And now, it's being struck by all this weather, so all this disaster. So it gives people like, oh well, we don't have a go-to place anymore. Okay. Get on our planes and go to Florida because Florida has a lot of natural disasters coming. If it's natural or man-made disasters.
Yeah, my mother's considering moving to Florida where it doesn't flood like that because we get older, sometimes the arthritis. But you know what? My next question is: there are a group of people that feel that Joe Biden, U.S. President Joe Biden, was wrong for giving a credit to individuals that have student loans over $10,000, but at $10,000, but they never said anything negative that when they build out big corporations. What is going on?
Well, that's more or less a political stunt.
Before the election.
The election is about 5 weeks away now. First week in November, and we got most of October to go. So basically, we got a little over a month before the election. And the Democrats know that they are in a rough place because inflation is getting crazy, and the main thing is the gas has really blew up to a point where people are really enraged at the Democrats for paying between $5. If you're in California, you're already paying $7 a gallon already.
Yes, David Costa told you.
Here you're paying about $5, and that's primarily a 4 or 5, right around 4 or 5, $4.50, near $5. But this is primarily due to Biden taking oil out of the strategic oil reserves. Now, what's the strategic oil reserve? That's reserves that we have in case we go to war or have a disaster here. A reserve oil. I don't know how many billions of gallons, but they're taking every day. They're taking 1 million barrels of that oil out of the strategic oil reserve and put it on the open market to drive the prices down. So what you're having is, as far as the oil today, the energy prices, gasoline prices here, and diesel fuel, the reason that they are high, low is primarily not because of market, but because of manipulation due to the fact that Biden has told the people, the Energy Commission, to take 1 million barrels per day out to supply, because what they did, they put sanctions on Russia for invading Ukraine. And as a result of that, they said, we're going to sanction your oil. So since they sanctioned the oil and the EU refused to buy it, the oil prices went sky high. And Russia is the second or third largest producer of oil in the world. Besides Saudi Arabia, I think I forget who's the second one. Oh, it's the United States, and then you got Russia. The problem is nobody could make up, since they sanctioned Russia and those oil. Nobody could make up for that extra
30%.
The extra oil. I think it's about 1.5 million barrels a day. So America took the oil out of their oil reserve, threw them onto the market, and that pulled the prices down temporarily. Now, just after this election, everything, the oil is going to go sky high again, and people don't know what happened. I said, just an election, thing to get the people to vote for Democrats. The economy is good. They're lying and telling people, well, the economy is getting better. Listen, we are in a recession now and getting ready to go to a depression. As this thing unfolds, we've got a vast amount of dollars, vast amount of debt, and the dollar is extremely, should I say, reaching all-time high, because everybody in Europe, throughout the world, they are buying dollars now, because the dollar has the highest interest rates in the world now, pretty close to 3.5%, on the way to 4%. So they're selling their own currency and buying dollars because they want to buy the treasury bills, because they pay a high interest rate. That's the whole reason you had this little scam.
Do you know what the perception? Before we continue on, can you tell us what time your show comes on again? Because there may be people that are just tuning in.
Well, we come on. Those are here in Chicago. That's on cable. It's on
every Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36, and it re-airs on Thursday, Channel 36, 10:30 to 11:30.
And you come on YouTube too, right? You got a YouTube.
Yeah, we have a
website, www.plim, PLIM2.org, PLIM2.org, PLIM2.org. Just go to our website, and that will get you all the information you need.
We also have,
gotta check out their YouTube website. Got to.
We also have a webinar. It comes on every Thursdays and Sundays from from 8 to 10
on Thursdays, and 1:30 to 3:30 on Sundays. And if you go to our website and go to upcoming events, you'll see upcoming webinars. You can register right there and join us on a webinar.
Okay, I'm gonna have to join y'all one day. But it's just as the other question now. What is both of you? What is the perception that the Federal Reserve keeps on going up on the interest rate? It's something that I don't understand, because I'm not an economics major. I don't understand microeconomics and macroeconomics. They're saying by them going up on the inflation, going up on the interest rate, that's going to slow down inflation. Can you explain that? Because they're experts. There's people that don't understand micro and macroeconomics.
Well, I was in the financial field, and I was one of the first back in the 60s, one of the first black portfolio managers here in Chicago. At that time, when that was the civil rights, and they had to make mandatory hiring so many blacks and so many different jobs. But basically, this was an exclusive job for Anglo-Saxons and whites and Jewish. Basically, ran that type field. Some other but it was few African Americans or blacks in that field at that time. And as a result, I benefit from the legislators they came forth. So, getting back to the topic at hand, is that when let's go back when. Best way to look at it this way is when we had the pandemic. They shut down the whole economy. They shut it down worldwide for 2 or 3 months. They shut down the economy. Shut it totally down.
In 2020.
Now, as a result, when they shut the economy down, you shut something down, there was no goods moving. The only way you could buy stuff is from the big box stores. Walmart.
Mhm.
Was it what's the
Home
other?
Depot.
Home Depot, all those big blocks.
Mhm.
But most small mom and pops were totally put out of business. No restaurants. So then that shut the economy down throughout the world.
Yes.
Now what happened is to what? Once this happened, they had to open the economy back up.
Okay.
And so when they opened the economy back up, they had to pump they had to put up a tremendous amount of money. I forget how many, $6 or $7 trillion they had to throw into the economy,
Mhm.
open it back up because they shut it down.
Okay.
Wasn't moving nowhere. And so, when they opened the economy back up, they put in about $7 trillion.
Wow.
Stock market went sky high. Everything went crazy. Real estate went crazy. Everything went crazy.
Okay.
That created vast amount of money.
Okay.
And people began after 2 years, they had the pandemic, they shut us down, we opened back up. It still wasn't about it. It took 2 years for them finally to kind of open the economy back up.
Yes.
The demand from the people was so great they broke the supply chain. In other words, the supply chain is all the goods, services, things that were manufactured overseas in China and wherever. That was all stopped. So when they opened back up, people wanted this and that. And what happened? There was a great demand for these things. Now inflation comes because you got more money and more people have a demand than you have what supplies. Mm-hmm. That increased the inflation because of the great demand that was coming forth. Mm-hmm. So what's happening now is Powell, the federal chief, he wants to cut down the demand of the people. The only way you cut down demand is throw the country in a severe recession, and people will quit buying, and then they will hope. But really, the problem of inflation is that there is a supply chain shortage. If you got a supply shortage of everything, shortage of everything causes prices to go up. If you got a shortage of potatoes, remember when they had shortage of toilet paper, the prices went up, all that stuff because there was a shortage and there was a great demand.
Yeah.
Once demand is met, the prices will actually return back to normal. But what happened? It's never returned back to normal because we still have a broken supply chain. Just for instance, you buy a car, you can buy a car from General Motors or Ford, and it doesn't have all the chips. They said, well, here's your car, but you don't have the parking chip that allows that car to sell. You don't have a camera chip. You may be missing many chips out of the car, brain chips, functions in the car, but they'll sell it to you. So when we get the chip, we'll fix your car. But you buy this car now. But the whole problem with inflation is that you have a huge demand, the supply chain is broken, and prices are going crazy. So the only way they can slow down inflation, because inflation is really about 8%. Really quickly, it's about 16%.
Got a caller.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Inflation rate.
He's got a call. Go ahead.
16% inflation. We're going to raise the interest rates to slow the economy down, to slow the purchases down. Because as we increase the interest rates, well, what happened? Everything goes up. The interest rates goes up on mortgages. Mortgages now was 7%. A year ago, they would run around 3%. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, interest rate was 0.5%. Now interest rates are for mortgages 2.5%, 2%. Now they are up around 6%. So interest rates for a mortgage has doubled in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year, we'll probably be at 7 to 8%. What does that do to the real estate market? It crashes. People can't afford the monthly payments.
Well, are you saying that the Feds made people that look at Fox Television, CNN, business, the Feds are just saying that this will slow down inflation by going up on the interest rate. So you're saying that's incorrect, not correct?
That's incorrect because it's what inflation is today is a shortage of caused by the supply chain being broken. The supply chain is still not fixed. And if you do any type of research, Google, you'll find out that it's not fixed. So there's a shortage of all types of products on the market now. Just not, for instance, food. If you have a drought, for instance, there's a drought out west, the cattlemen are selling all their cattle on the market. Mm-hmm. So they sell all their cattle on the market. That
Yeah.
pushes the price down for this year. Then next year, what are they going to do about next year? Say, well, we don't have no cattle. Then prices will go back up because they done sold off all that cattle because they couldn't afford to feed them and there was no water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand some basic economics.
Yes.
Whenever there's a drought, crops are failing and prices of crops go up.
Wow.
And see, I don't care what you do to the interest rate, that doesn't change or fix that the crops are failing.
Yes.
You can't get a computer chip or you can't get a part, and people demanding these parts. I don't care if they go to 20%, they still could not have fixed inflation, right? Because it deals with the supply side of the thing.
Mm-hmm. You know, I would like to ask both of you. I'm going to switch to immigration. I would like to ask both of you that Chicago and there are other cities that are sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities, for people that don't understand, means immigrants can come to that location and get the same entitlements of someone that has not gotten here illegally. I'd like to ask you, do you think that Governor Abbott of Texas is wrong for shipping immigrants to cities that say that they are sanctuary cities? And what should we do about the immigration problem?
Well, you're dealing with, well, first of all, let us go back. The reason you have an immigration problem is primarily due to the New World Order. I mean, there are structures like the World Economic Forum, big billionaires. And what they would do is to remove borders. What they want to do is get cheap labor.
Okay.
Just like they went to China, they shipped everything abroad to China because that was cheap labor. They found out China is now their enemy. Now they went to India. See, it's cheap labor. So here in America, what they do is that when we had the construction boom, they didn't want to pay those high construction fees, labor fees for the workers. So what happened? They imported a lot of these people from Mexicans and South Americans up here to do most of the construction work. It was, at that time, back in the 2007 and 9, 10, 11, 12, you go out to Home Depot, you see these people lined up. You say, what the hell's going on with all these people lined up? They get labor, but they were immigrants, see?
And they also were in the restaurant industry.
They was also the restaurant business. So what you have today is that if you go to a hotel today, most of the people that clean up the hotels, they are all, immigrants, and illegals. I don't know. The point is, most Americans won't do that work primarily because they don't pay a living wage.
Yes.
And then they can abuse those folks because they are not citizens of the country and don't know. So why they got them here is for cheap labor, and also the Democrats need more people to vote Democrats, so they vote those. We got 2 million people that came in already from the border. They said, we want to open the border up. How the hell you have a border, a country, and you don't have any borders? That's crazy as hell.
But Dr. Lee Warren and Miss Penny Warren, would you say that Governor Abbott and the governor of Florida, are they wrong for saying, you know what? Because they're saying is this tax money that our cities and states are taking in is supposed to be allocated for individuals that live in the state. Are they wrong?
They're absolutely wrong. Listen, how can you give somebody that just come across the border? This doesn't even make good common sense. Listen, you give them a shelter, free shelter. You give them food. You give them a car. And a cell phone. Say, listen, people just came across the border. You got people are homeless. Look at the situation in LA and all the homelessness you have in the country.
People living under bridges.
And thirds and everything. And you can't supply what? The lesson is you have to take care of your citizens first before you get a visitor to come in here.
Yeah, okay.
It's just common sense.
And right before the election, they're bringing all these people in and telling them that they're going to be voting. Now, how have you ever heard some migrants coming into a country and voting for the governments that's already there?
And they're not even citizens.
But I would like to ask both of you both of you the question.
But let me finish. They're going to ship these
okay.
folks to Abbott and them. They said, well, listen, since they cannot control the border, that's a federal mandate. That's part of their power. They said, okay, you're not going to dump all those people in the state of Florida or wherever. We're going to ship these people to D.C. We're going to ship them to New York
and Chicago.
And we're going to ship them all over. Because, see, you want to have, you want to let these people in here, and then you want us to take care of them. And you found out that Mayor Lightfoot, when all these busloads of people started coming in, the first thing he talking about, well, we need a donation. Well, yeah, I thought you said you was what?
Sanctuary City.
I thought you said you was Sanctuary City. Well, we need a donation. We got to get some nonprofit groups to hound and take the fight. So, doggone well, you ain't got no problem. And he's still sending buses up here. He said, we got to coordinate. And listen, you close the border and tell them people to go back home and you deal with your own situation. We have a situation here that our economy is also slowing down and getting ready to go into depression. Now, how we can provide for you and you're not even citizens of the country?
My next question is, if a state classifies themselves as a sanctuary city, do they get extra federal government money since they classify themselves as being a sanctuary city? Do the states, is that burden put on the people that live in the state to take care of these people till they get settled?
That's correct. The only way they get their money is through taxes, and even the nonprofit groups that donate various Catholic organizations, other religions, they pay those people to help find those people a place to stay. And they give them the various social services. How? Whoa, back up. That's the reason you have immigration. You have to go through a
orderly process.
An orderly process. You get in line, but don't come busting in the border talking about you need all this. We need a place to stay. We need a phone. We need all this. So wait a minute, we got citizens to take care of.
I want to ask y'all about a controversial issue that will be discussed in the next presidential election, and then I'm gonna get to Donald Trump. Do you think that the Supreme Court was wrong for making a reversal on the Roe versus Wade law about giving women the right to get abortions? Both of y'all, do you think they was right or wrong?
Well, I'll tell you this. As far as the Constitution, you look literally in the Constitution and just read it, a simple document. There's nothing in that Constitution that gives them the right, a woman the right to have abortion. It's not a right. It's not like a voting right. It's not like a right of a Second Amendment that you have to carry a gun. It's not like a right that you have the freedom of free speech or to assembly. Not right. Another right to prohibit commerce for your religion. So no, it's not there. But they had 50 years ago, they conjured up something and got it through. And then 50 years later, they said, wait a minute, there's no constitutional basis for this. Now, if they want to go ahead and do that on the state legislature, it's fine, but it has nothing to do with constitutional rights.
Okay.
There may be just for that, for rape or whatever reason, but just to willy-nilly do that, that's a problem with that.
I got a follow-up, but I want to see Ms. Penny Warren, what do you have to say?
And it just so happens that it happens to be on a biblical cycle of 490 years or 490 or 4950. So in 72, 73, when they passed this bill, and here we are 49, 50 years later, now it's being repealed. That's like a jubilee. So there was like a bunch of sacrifices being offered up for 49, for 49 years, 50 years, and now there's a jubilee. Same thing with the student debt loan you talked about. That was up for 40, that was on. There's a organization called Jubilee Org or something that's talking to these students about getting a student loan. So all these things are falling on a cycle, and there's a biblical implication to all this as well. So we just want to remember that as well.
Now I have to ask both of you respectfully. I would like to know, whereas if I go out here and do some harm to a young lady and she is 5 months pregnant, do you know that I would get 2 charges for murder? Because I'm not going to say murder because I inflicted harm on some adult, and then I inflicted harm on it. Something that was past the zygote stage, just kicking around. So would you say that that's wrong for me to get charged for 2 murders because I have killed the lady, I hurt the lady, and took the baby's life by doing her? Would you say that that's wrong for me to get 2 murders?
That's 2 lives. In other words, you have the life of the mother and the life of the sister. Woman is a woman to carry life. She has an embryo fetus within that, which is life itself. So definitely, that's life. Like you said, you should be charged. But yet, when you do an abortion, they say, "Well, that ain't got to do no life." Wait a minute, it's either or, it's one or the other. It's not both. If somebody can hit somebody and damage the woman and causes a miscarriage or the death of the fetus,
that's 2 lives.
That's 2 lives. But yet, when this woman wants to abort her fetus, like some places in New York, you got 9 months. Well, if 9 months you don't want the baby, you would kill it. Now, wait a minute, that's dealing with out murder.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm speaking of, if that is the case, should there not be a penalty for an individual taking a life of something that is kicking around and you hear a heartbeat? If I would be charged for murder for killing her and fetus, can you elaborate on that?
Well, the situation comes down, it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. First of all, they'll tell you if you take life like you went through and hurt somebody, even a car accident, you come down and had a big accident and killed a woman, and she was pregnant. Next thing you know, they say, wait a minute, we're going to charge you with not only manslaughter for the woman, but also for the killing the fetus there. Then when the woman wants to abort the child on her own, well, that is not murder. That has nothing to do with second-degree murder or nothing. You try to say, wait a minute, where's the consistency here?
Right. In the law.
In the law, and you make allowances for the woman to carry a baby, and if she wants to abort it anytime she gets ready, then they say, well, that's not life, and they redefine whatever it is, and Planned
Parenthood.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood.
Well, it cause more abortions of black babies doing the when they call us Negroes than
on the broadcast.
You couldn't believe.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, the number of African American babies that have been aborted is off the chain. As a matter of fact, they went out and got black ministers to do that. So that goes to show you that is basically maniacal. That organization is basically satanic anyway. Anytime you want to abort babies, and then listen, in addition to that, they selling baby parts. What is it in?
Right.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm gonna tell you, for the people that are listening, all I was trying to do was make a contrast and comparisons, and we get the opportunity to hear when their show comes on again. When does your show come on again?
It comes on every Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36, and it re-airs on Thursday, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on Channel 36.
Chicago Cable.
This is Chicago Cable and TV.
Now on the internet, on the web, we have a webinar that comes on every
Sunday and Thursday. On Sunday, it's 1:30 to 3:30, and on Thursday, it's 8 to 10 p.m. You can go to our website, plem2.org, www.plem2.org, and register for any of those upcoming webinars.
Now we're not on Facebook or all those other free things because they want to censor us. So you start talking about COVID shots.
Yeah.
We're gonna censor you. We're gonna take you off of there.
Right.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? But they have a YouTube page, and you know what? Hey, it's great. You know, there are millions of people that go on YouTube, and they have a YouTube page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link. I'm going to put the link there where you can subscribe to their YouTube page. I want to get to Donald. First of all, I would like to ask you about Joe Biden. Can you give us, both of you, can you give us an assessment of critique the job that U.S. President Joe Biden has done since he's been in office?
Well, listen, I'll say it this way. If he was a civilian, he couldn't get a job at Walmart sweeping the floor. The man is demented. It has, well, I'm not a medical doctor, but you could tell. You don't need to be a medical doctor or a neurologist. You could tell from the way that he speaks and the way he walks that something that
It's cognitively wrong. He was giving a speech the other day, and he was asking for someone that had just had an accident that same week.
She had died.
Maybe died a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. And she's saying, "Oh, where's so and so? Where's so and so? I'm thinking about, because she was a real good supporter." And the people around him said, "Mr. President, she died in an accident."
So he has a cognitive impairment, and if you got cognitive impairment, you can't fly a plane. You have problems, severe problems. And you've been the executive of the most powerful country in the world. Why did they put him in here? So it's a lot of. And listen, he's not controlling anything. It's people behind the scenes that's manipulating, telling him to sign this. He can't go to the bathroom by himself.
New World Order system. What would you say, both of you, when you make that type of assessment of U.S. President Joe Biden, would you say that the country was in better hands with former U.S. President Donald Trump? Would you say that? Because he cannot announce whether he's going to run again because of campaign finance. Would you say that the country would be in better hands with Donald Trump?
Well, it was shown just from an international standpoint. There's two reasons we can look at it. When President Biden came into office, he cut down, from executive order, his first thing was the pipeline. Cut off that pipeline, I can't think of it right now, to come back to me. This pipeline, he had cut off oil from Canada. And that pipeline would bring in about a million barrels a day. So when he cut that off, there was a shortage. Now he's pushing this green, I call it the green
green deal.
The green agenda. He thinks that you can run an economy on sunlight and wind. And just any fool that's in the 6th grade know that every day, you don't get sun every day and you don't get wind every day. So if you can't get those two things are not consistent 7/24, then how in the hell can you run a steel mill or any type of industrial situation with iffy weather and iffy wind? It's impossible. So they don't want to use fossil fuels. So that is causing a situation. So what he's trying to do is kill fossil fuel and force everybody to drive an electric car. And that's impossible because the infrastructure won't set up. It takes 20 or 30 years just to rebuild the infrastructure.
Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah, Keystone. That was right. It was called a Keystone Pipeline, but it's going to take 30 years to rebuild the whole electrical infrastructure. You just can't throw that stuff up in a day. Just look at Florida, down there, and was it Fort Myers?
Yeah,
they don't have the infrastructure is totally wiped out, and they can't do that stuff in a day. It's going to take months to get that stuff together.
I got to follow up. Okay.
They're going to tell us. And then listen, if you got an electric car in Florida now, you indeed do. Because you can't get no electricity. Now, you can go out and get some fuel.
But the power's down in many places in Florida.
So then the problem is, he is probably one of the worst presidents you have. But at least under Trump, we had oil exploration, and that was being pushed. And then internationally, he was working with the Chinese, and also a little Kim over there. Everything was put pretty much under control. And as far as the Ukraine, he wouldn't have went into Ukraine because simply it's probably one of the most corrupt governments on the face of the earth.
Wow.
And most of that was Biden and his son had control over the oil and situation. That's the whole thing about the situation with the whole Biden
laptop,
family and laptop.
Hunter laptop.
The laptop is that his family has reaped tremendous amount of money
from the Ukraine.
Now, how in the hell you could be in office and have all that type of situation going on, and then they jump on Trump for some little Trump up charges, but at least he didn't sell the country down the drain.
You know what? My question to both of you is: wouldn't you think it would be better for globally if we did some of our dependency on oil? We went to alternative sources to get energy, like the wind. Okay, because of the fossil fuels are doing damage to the ionosphere. Okay, so is it good because they're talking about putting up electric outlets where they can plug up? Would you say that would be better to? Okay,
I would say it this way: you're gonna have electric cars and electric this, but it's not gonna be to the degree that they think they want it to be. They want to be 99% electric. That's impossible. Just now, you can hear in California or in the summer. When we have summer, they always talk about you may have blackouts. So they don't have a electrical structure to handle. Of all the cars was electrical. You know how many billions of cars, hundreds of millions of cars we got in this country, and they all would be electrical. It would be one hell of a mess. And what structures you would need, you couldn't build it overnight. So that's a gradual process that would work its way through natural evolution, rather than try to push this through. As far as environment, cutting back on carbon dioxide and all this stuff. They say if a cattle is fired, you got to cut back on your cattle. Just nonsense. If a volcano, the amount of smoke that volcanoes blow up every 50 or 30, 40 years, it brings about a winter, blocks out the sun. What are they talking about? There's natural things that we can do to reduce it. And the technology that's coming in through fossil fuels, they have greatly reduced the pollution factor. It can be reduced better. But as far as them just saying, well, listen, like Europe did. In Europe, they went all green. They didn't want any nuclear. They cut off their nuclear power. No more fossil fuel, no more coal, no more nothing. And as a result, they were getting gas from Russia, which they sanctioned. Now they up the creek because
now they have to cut down trees.
They have to cut down trees because somebody blew up the pipeline. So they in deep doo-doo and
the Nordstrom pipeline last Tuesday.
So they are in deep doo-doo because there's no way that they can have heat this winter. And the industries are talking about, well, they have to shut out because they don't have the natural gas to continue their production. So then the problem is that, listen, China has 30% of the natural resources of the world. Let me say that to you. 30% of the natural resources of the world are located in China. I mean, in Russia. So you talk about coal, you talk about uranium. You have to get uranium from Russia. You don't know. People are just totally ignorant of world economics and that are taking place. So if they knew that, wait a minute, you can't sanction Russia because we get all of our basically natural resources from Russia. Now, what they should have worked it out with Ukraine and worked it out and said, wait a minute, they don't have to go to war. But United States got their own agenda. And the propaganda here in this country, everybody thinks the United States is whoa, 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 whoa. But they're going to find out that the people that control, we elect politicians, but there's another level above them that control the politicians. People have not even begun to understand.
You know, I would like to ask both of you, to touch on Donald Trump, and then I'm going to go to the war after this. Do you think that it is justified? Should Donald Trump, former U.S. President Donald Trump, be given the opportunity to run again, seeing as though he took classified documentation and he may have incited an insurrection on the Capitol? Do you think that, what do you think should be done to him? And do you think that he should be able to run for president? And he never presented his taxes. And I would like to know what y'all think about that.
Well, listen, this is a very difficult subject. A man of his wealth, it's hard to take into court, like in New York. They're going to find out this thing is going to be delayed and run around because he has the lawyers, see, to handle the situation. It's like, how do you think OJ got off? If he had been the average black man, he'd have been in jail now. So, but he had enough money, enough resources to hire some of the best lawyers and experts, and he was able to change that situation. I don't know if he did or not. That's irregardless, but he had the legal means, financial means to handle that situation. That's the same thing I'm saying with Donald. He has that same thing. And listen, they have brought all types of charges against this man. Before he even ran, they had all types of spying on him, which was illegal as far as the country is concerned. No other president has had the type of persecution from the government from that. But see, he's not a part of the network. He comes in, Trump comes in as a very wealthy person, comes in, and he's going to change the order of the government. They said, wait a minute, no, you ain't coming in and changing nothing.
Yes.
See? This is like the black politicians. They're going to say, we're going to get this and we're going to get this for you. Listen, you're not going to get anything from them people because they've already decided what they're going to do. And if anything they're going to do for you, they throw out a couple of bones to you. But as far as changing the overall structure, it's never going to be changed.
So you say, even though the New York prosecutor, I forgot her name, she's coming after him, but you would say this will not affect him running for office again.
No, that wouldn't affect it. There is no law. Listen, you could be a felon and run if the people want to vote you. There's no law that says that you cannot run for president. There's no law on the books. Like here in the state of Illinois, if you're convicted as a felon, they would say that you can't even run for the state. You've been convicted here for impropriety. You couldn't run for a state office.
Well, I mean, but about the classified documents, do you, in your opinion, you and Mr. Warren, do you think that was justified? That
Well, let me
take
say
classified information, and that information could have been passed off to. Do you think that was justified?
Well, let me give you a few examples to show you that it was. They came deliberately after him for this, because if you go back to Obama he took files and had them here in Chicago in a little what you call, and show as Obama and who's that? Hillary. People had all types of documents they took out. Hillary even destroyed documents, destroyed emails, and all kinds of stuff. She hadn't even been bought before court. But listen, they didn't invade her property. They didn't get a warrant and go in and search her premise. Take all the stuff that she had, her computers, everything. If you were just for you and I, if we were selling dope and we had computers and stuff, they taking everything from you. You don't have nothing, phones, all of it. But Hillary got rid of it. Obama did certain things. In other words, you have documents that the president has a tremendous amount of power, and he can take a document that's top secret. He could make it a regular document. That's within his power.
Go ahead. I never read that he took classified documents. He took documents for his library, I believe.
That's right.
I never read that he took classified information. I never read that.
Well, they say it's classified, but they said he unclassified it before he took it. That's part of the problem with his memoirs that he's going to write. You've been in office 4 years. You have passed all types of laws. You've seen all types of documents, and you need all of that to write a book later. Where you can make millions of dollars. So the state the federal what they call it, the archives of the federal government, they say that those documents are theirs. It's just like when the Clintons left the White House, they took furniture, they took every damn thing out of that White House. They said, wait a minute, you got to bring that stuff back up in here, because that's part of the state.
But I never heard that it was classified. But I understand what you're saying.
They say it's classified. I don't know. I'm just saying what they said.
Okay. And you know what? Let's go to the war in Ukraine and NATO. Do you think that the United States and NATO is wrong. I mean, the United States is wrong for giving military assistance in capital to the Ukraine as they do battle against Russia out of old USSR. Both of you, what do y'all think? Should we stay out of it? Should we be like nationalists and just stay out of it? Is it wrong? Could that money be used at home instead of sending all that money abroad?
Listen, the problem is that American people are so dumbed down. They don't know how that situation came about and how it unfolded chronologically, historically.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you go back to 1994, they had an elected president.
2014.
Was it 2014, somewhere around? I can't remember. And he was leaning toward Russia. You know,
Yanukovych.
Yanukovych. He was leaning toward Russia. You know, impartial toward Russia.
Mm-hmm.
The United States, and then they didn't like that, so they came in and overthrew the man, and put in another governor or prime minister leader there, and that started the damn mess.
Mm-hmm.
That's how what's his name?
Zelensky.
Zelensky came in and got elected, but
Mm-hmm.
that's all a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Because what Ukraine was going to do, the honest elected president, he was going to work it out with Russia.
Right.
Okay.
And they overthrew him because the United States didn't want that.
And if you think about it, it's Crimea and these other 4 regions.
Mm-hmm.
Those people want to be part of Russia, and Russia wants them to be part of them. What do we care? What do we have to do with that? It has nothing to do with us at all.
Listen, we change governments all the time. What did we do to Yugoslavia? What did we do to
Libya?
Okay.
Yeah.
So just like Gaddafi said, we're gonna have a gold
Afghanistan.
A gold dinar. Well, he had to go. They overthrew him.
Mm-hmm.
The United States is always overthrowing governments, putting their puppets in. The same thing they did with Saddam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna use dollars no more. I'm gonna use euros. They said, wait a minute, you ain't gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
All of those countries, we went in and overturned their duly elected government. If they didn't go along with the United States policy, that's been always known for. Go all the way back to Lumumba. They always overthrowing stuff. But when the Russians decided to put their man in there, he got elected. They said, no, we're gonna throw him out. So as a result of that, it broke down the agreement there between dialogue between Russia and Ukraine. And next thing you know, the United States is what?
Giving Ukraine weapons.
Ukraine weapons
to fight Russia.
So
and Russia's finna go nuclear.
Russia's finna go nuclear.
Oh, nuclear.
So wait a minute. Y'all playing with fire. Best all leave Russia alone and let Russia and Ukraine say, listen, you work this thing out. How y'all work it out is our business. We ain't getting involved in it, and we ain't giving one nickel over there. And it would get involved, and it would solve, because it would be solved probably in 30 days, because they find out that they don't have an agitator, which is us, agitate the situation, and they work it out, and that's it. But as of now, the only person that has the advantage here is the military-industrial complex. They're making billions of dollars, while the American people here can't get any type of livable wage, or as far as it's about $70 billion. Now, listen, give me a what I'm talking about. They done spent almost $100 billion over in Ukraine. Now, do you know how much it's going to take to rebuild Florida? The government got to come up with another 70, 80 billion. Now, we done gave all the money over to them folks over there. Now we need somebody to rebuild
Puerto Rico too.
Yeah.
I understand. You know what? I'm gonna tell somebody real quick. Watch the Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30 on Channel 19, and you can see these great people on my show. But they're gonna tell you when that show comes on and how you can get in contact with them.
Okay, you can watch the Plum Show every Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36. It re-airs on Thursday, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Channel 36. It's on CAN TV for those in Chicago area. For those that want to join us for our webinars, we have webinars on Sunday, 1:30 to 3:30, and Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can go to our website, plim2.org. That's PLIM2.org, and register for those webinars.
Yes. Now, I like to ask y'all, both of you, do you think that Nancy Pelosi, who is a congresswoman, she went to Taiwan, even though President Xi, I think his name, told President Joe Biden, if you play with fire, you get burnt. Do you think she was wrong for going to Taiwan? It's like a bully telling you to do something and drawing a line and saying, don't cross this line. Do you think that she was wrong? I got a follow-up question for that.
Well, she went over and agitated the situation, which is already tense. So why would you go and agitate the situation when China says that they want Taiwan? Eventually, they're gonna take it. We may have to go to war with that. But listen, if you look at that from a strategic standpoint, Taiwan is only about 120 miles offshore.
Like Cuba, yeah.
Like Cuba, from China. Now we got to come almost 6,000 miles to bring all our supplies and ships over to beat them. Now, who in the hell you think gonna win this war? You got to come 6,000 years.
You make it sound like Vietnam or the Bay of Pigs.
These people, and they got it right there in their backyard. I say, listen, you better use some wisdom and leave that situation alone, because you have enough problems here in the United States. And as far as trying to rule the world, well, you can get that because you don't have the money to handle the situation. And as of now, see, this is not. Let me say this: this is not 1880. This is when the white nations had rule over the whole world. They had China, they had Africa, all of them folks. They were all colonies. Well, people ain't going back to that stuff no more.
Yeah.
They see China and Russia now have nukes, so they said, "No, we ain't going back to 1880. You can forget that. We co-equals."
And if it was wrong for Cuba, as JFK said, he didn't want the Cuban Missile Crisis to go on in the 1960s, then why is it wrong for for China to not want Taiwan?
Or Russia
for the Ukraine. It's the same situation.
I mean, I think President Xi was playing poker by defying her to go. And to me, President Xi looks real bad because he didn't do anything about it. Would y'all agree with that? I disagree with that. I think he has a re-election with the PKP. I think that is, and he looks real bad. Would you agree?
Restate the question again.
Would you say that President Xi,
the Chinese
of
president,
China, looks bad because he has some type of thing coming up with the Communist Party in China where he might lose power, he might hold on to power? Would you say that he lost credibility with the China people because he did absolutely nothing but just talk?
Well, he didn't say too much anything. Most of the I guess the threats and everything was made by the Communist Party and in the newspapers. That was their editorials that they said they was going to do. But he didn't say anything. But he did demonstrate through military maneuvers over Taiwan there with ships and everything. And like they said, all they got to do is blockade Taiwan, and you have a problem.
If someone just sent a message, how likely is World War III in the near future?
It's very near. I'll tell you, it's very, very near. If you follow the news on things on the Google, on the web, on the internet, you can find out that. Listen, there's never been statements made like this in 70 after World War II. This year and last year, there's been more statements about Russia talking about nuclear war, using nuclear weapons in the United States than ever it was during Russia, USSR, and the communists. It's never been like this. So the situation is extremely tense now, and that's a prophecy in the scriptures that goes into this. But I don't have time for that. But yeah, we are part of a system that has really ruled the world. And people, I told you we have 700 bases around the world, and we have overthrew many nations. The reason South America is the way it is because the corporations went down there and took and bought land, bribed the people, bribed the presidents down there, whatever, the heads down there, and had these people working for nothing. And it's sheer craziness. And we have taken oil, we've taken resources from all these countries from all over the world, and they remain in poverty. It's not that they are poverty on their own, but a lot of times it's other powers coming in undermining your situation, and that's what it is. There are powers, and if you do a deep research on it, I can tell you that the United States and the CIA did a whole lot of dirt, and we're not as clean-handed as we presuppose.
I'd like to ask y'all, you know what, we're running over, but what I would like to ask y'all is please tell us all your contact information. And then I have a question at that. How do people get in contact with y'all on Plim? Please give that information.
So we have a cable TV show every Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36. It re-airs on Thursday, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on Channel 36. We have webinars every Sunday and Thursday. The Sunday webinars are from 1:30 to 3:30, and the Thursday webinars are from 8 to 10 p.m. Go to our website, www.plim2.org. That's PLIM2.org. To register for those webinars. You can also see our YouTube channel. Just go to our website. Has tons of information.
YouTube is big. But my you know what, I have probably two more questions I would like to ask you for the people that are looking at this presently, and this will be in cyberspace forever. What would you say to the people that are looking at this presently, and for the people that will see this in the future? Do you have a message for them?
Well, my message to you is that if you go to Revelation 17 and 18 chapters, it's a very symbolical book, but you probably won't be able to understand it fully, but you'll get the gist of it. That talk about a system called Babylon that has seduced the whole world, and it says that this woman is riding this beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. This is all symbolical. A beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. This woman is called Mr. Babylon, the mother of harlots, and What it said that this beast will burn the harlot. And it tells you where this woman sits on 7 hills, or 7 mountains where she sits. It tells you the geographical location. And it gives this beast represents nations. My point is, in the 18th chapter, it talks about the collapse of the system financially. And this is the first time in history to date. First time in the history of the world that throughout the whole world it's collapsing. I didn't say the United States was collapsing
or France,
Germany, but we all collapsing together. That's never happened in the history of the world. So you have to know what you should. If the dollar goes away tomorrow, what would you use as a medium of exchange? You know that wealthy people are buying gold and silver. They didn't tell you about nothing. See, there's other things that you can do to provide to be able to survive this calamity, and we have that information free every third Sunday. Every third Sunday. We have financial preparedness because it's all free. It's certain things that you can do because you can see one thing. You can see today. You don't have to know nothing about the economics. You have never been to school for that. You don't know nothing. Just keep going to the supermarket and keep going fast. You will soon find out the dollar you got, the $20 you got. You'll find out what.
It's not worth anything.
It's not worth it.
So bunkers and undergrounds should not be a priority. What should be a priority is you getting your faith together with your Creator, which is right within you. You're the temple for the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit dwells right within you, and you familiar. You're not, when the Messiah said in John 14, let not your heart be troubled.
Mhm.
Your heart will not be troubled if you are focused on him in you.
Okay.
That's our message.
And he can provide a sanctuary for you.
Mhm.
Listen, let me say this: those bunkers are for wealthy folks.
Mhm.
You ain't gonna have $1 billion for all the food that you need and water and supplies. Listen, we don't have now. Russia has a shelters for 80% of their people. So
Yes.
so then we're just out in the open, and they're gonna feed these underground bunkers and leave us on the top of it with all this radiation.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? In conclusion, I would like to, thank both of y'all for coming on an Underground Railroad television show. Actually, this is better than CAN television in a way, because I ain't got to pay no crew. And you know what? This technology, because things change. I want to give a special thanks to my professors at Kennedy King College for media production, for helping develop and giving us knowledge. I want to thank y'all. But I want to ask y'all, I have been asking y'all questions for almost an hour, but I would like to say perhaps it is something that y'all wanted to say, convey a specific message. And I want to give y'all the opportunity to do that before we close out. Both of y'all.
Well, I say what you need to do is provide for yourself and your family. You're going to have some divine guidance and instructions here at this critical time, because you can see the chaos that you have just here in the city of Chicago. Listen, they can't even tie down the crime here. You look at the stuff that's taking place daily. 4 and 5 people get shot every day. I mean, 6, 7 people, that's nothing. You know, and you wonder, so wait a minute, what is the chaos? Why is all this chaos being allowed to take place here? Why has it been allowed? Well, what are you going to do? You as an individual, you could elect somebody, but more than likely, you're going to have to ask that Heavenly Father within you to guide and instruct you on what to do, where to go, because you're finding out that the government is failing you folks. You will find it every day. You see what they did to the veterans. That they don't fight all these wars, and they get totally nothing. People on welfare or whatever, they're not been given any type of or trade or vocation to make money. The government don't make no money.
And it used to be given in high school. Before you left high school, you had a wood working trade, auto mechanic. They don't do that anymore. Women who have to cook before they left high school, all those courses are now out of the high school. So people
dummy them down, as Dr. Lee Warren said, dummy them down.
That's right. That's the reason why you have so much crime, because nobody knows what to do.
I'm gonna tell y'all something Red Ross said. He said crime does pay. It pays the lawyers, it pays the judges.
That's right.
Red. And Dr. Penny Warren, do you have a finishing message that you would like to convey to the audience? There are people looking on YouTube and Facebook that are presently looking, and for the people that will see this in cyberspace years from now.
Well, I just repeat the message of the Messiah in the 14th chapter of John. He said, let not your heart be troubled. Believe in the Father, believe also in me. In my house are many mansions. So in our world, unless you're in a calm state of mind, a peaceful state of mind, that stayed on the Father in you, your heart will be troubled and you will be overwhelmed by all this is going on. Someone just wrote a message. There were 3 separate murders on my block in the last 7 days. 3 separate murders. And the people in Highland Park, they get all this press for, the killing that happened on the July 4th weekend. And the one little boy that got, he's still recovering from, he's paralyzed. He's still in physical therapy. He's thinking about something. So they don't do that for Chicago.
People get shot and we don't have nothing. They don't give us, they don't even give them, so you've been traumatized, you need to go somewhere and get professional help. Hey, they tell you to go back home. You got to deal with all this trauma.
Yeah, I mean, that was Chicago aldermen that were calling for the National Guards to come in. So if they were calling for the National Guards to come in, that's saying they lost control, which I knew that anyway.
We already know they lost control.
So Well, we're going to close out, and you know what? I want to thank both of you for accepting the invitation to come on the Underground Railroad podcast and tell people that SHAYMAR Media Production, we produce television shows in Chicago, but I'm going to let them, with their permission, give their finish, give pertinent information about how you can get in contact. And I encourage people that are looking at this to go to their websites, go to their seminars, because you know what? These are wonderful and intelligent and enlightened people. So I'm going to have them give their information out. And thank y'all for accepting the invitation.
You're more than welcome, Clifton. You can come to our website, www.plim2.org. That's PLIM2.org, O-R-G. You can sign up there for our webinars. We have webinars every Sunday and every Thursday. Sundays webinars are 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. and our Thursday webinars are 8 to 10 p.m. You can go to a link that says upcoming events and then it says upcoming webinars. And you can register for the webinars right there online. We also have a CAN TV show that airs every Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:30 on channel 36 and re-airs on Thursday, 10:30 to 11 a.m. on channel 36. That's CAN TV for those in the Chicago area.
Mm-hmm. Anything you had to say, Dr. Lee?
No, I just say put your faith in that's within you, because you see that there's a total breakdown on the city level, statewide, and country level. So you can't rely on these people for anything.
Now, and like I said, for the people that look at the Underground Railroad TV show, I encourage you to, the information that they gave, I encourage you to go to their sites to get the information, because they're very knowledgeable people, but the knowledge comes from the creator. I know that, y'all know that. And I want to say thank you to them, and to the people in the United States, Canada, Asia, Africa, and Europe, and North Pole and South Pole. I want to say thank you and leave with the words of Assalamu alaikum. And you know what? I want to thank y'all again for taking time out of y'all day to grace us, my little audience, with your presence. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime, Clifton, Underground Railroad, be there. Give us a time and we're there.
Okay, television show. I'll let y'all know something next, because I'm gonna put in another show. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Y'all take care, and thank you. And may God watch Plim Power Late. Man, they've been coming on for how many years? Y'all been coming on?
On cable, local cable here, are pretty close to 30 years.
1990 we started.
1990.
Gotta watch.
33 years almost.
And I will, in the links that they send me, I will put that in the description, and go to their YouTube page, because we know there are millions of people that go on YouTube. Millions. So every single day, every second. So thank y'all again. And I'm gonna sign off, and assalamu alaikum to everybody. Thank you.
You're welcome. Peace.
You're welcome. Peace.
Okay, peace. Okay, and you know what? That was phenomenal. And you know what? Anytime they come on the show with their knowledge, I am appreciative, because these are good people that are attempting to wake up the people. And I want to say thank you to my professors at Kennedy King College and the media department, because I'm learning so much about TV production. You know, one thing about it, when you go to school, you learn how much you don't know. But 30 years ago, I would have said that. So the Underground Railroad comes on every Saturday night at 10:30. But these people that you just saw, you can see them on my YouTube page. But they have their own YouTube page. So go there, and they give great information. Have them on your show. Write an article. Okay, write an article about it. They've been coming on for 37 years. Have them on your show. Have them. So again, SHAYMAR Media Productions. We do video production in Chicago. We do editing, create television shows, and telephone number 773-416-7555. And don't forget vidIQ. I would like for y'all to go there to hit that link, the sponsor link, because the money that comes, if you get vidIQ, you could get over 1,000 subscribers because they help with SEO and all that. And you want to make a donation to the Underground Railroad television show, I want to thank you. And I'm going to give y'all finishing words of Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for all the people that were watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, printers. Thank you.